Hey! Hey there! Today I'm going to show you my entire experience playing the first Descendant Season 3 private demo. What new things you're gonna encounter, new growth systems, Axiom Planes, Wall Crasher, and what to expect. First things first, I want to express my huge thanks to Nexon and TFD for inviting me to this demo. It was an opportunity I could not turn down because this gives me a slight glimpse of Season 3, as well as to gather some feedback about the season in general. And boy, feedback I did. We weren't really given anything story-wise, and even if we were, I wouldn't want to spoil you guys. But in Season 3, we might finally be able to learn more about Karel and his purposes for invading Ingress. When you enter the game, the lobby page has changed and it now showcases your fellow, Descendant, your hover bike, and some robots in the background. Let's now head directly towards how to enter the Axiom Planes. You are able to access this by going into hard mode, and the Axiom Planes is located at the bottom of the map. I could be wrong here, but I believe that you're only able to access Axiom Planes when you're at level 18 Mastery rank. Selecting this will bring you into a region that has 7 missions and some other unfamiliar icons. The 7 missions works like the missions from the current regions. However, these take way longer to complete with tons and tons of enemies to defeat. It also looks like we will still be encountering the same types of enemies with the addition of the new faction called the Legion of Breach. During one of these missions, and not to spoil you too much, you will encounter random elites. These are noticeable enemies with different abilities and combat styles. Aside from these random elites, you will encounter what was already shown in the demo, the assault ships and the breach, sack, and tunnels. Aside from this, a final mission boss will appear at the end. These are quite different from the current Vulgus commanders we have, and they somewhat remove the immunity phases and instead replace it with combat phases. Out of the 7 missions, 2 missions will be randomly activated as a battlefield mission. You'll know because the icon will change into fangs. These will give you additional rewards when you complete the mission. Aside from day and night cycle, even weather features, Axiom Planes also has random boxes that drops materials. There will also be random encounters and random interactables like the Void Axiom. These are special supply boxes that gives you rewards by interacting and defeating the enemies that's surrounding it. You will also be encountering Field Colossus that spawns before Wall Crasher does. Defeating one will reward you with items and gear based on the Colossus you've beaten. And don't worry, the Field Colossus are significantly tougher where Serena can't defeat it within seconds. There will also be new activity in the Axiom Fields that involves your hover bikes. These are basically just a checkpoint race that grants you rewards when you complete it within a given time. Speaking of hover bikes, there are 3 available hover bikes: the base hover bike, the balance hover bike, and the speed hover bike, each with their own unique stats based on the type. You can paint your hover bike by going into the customization tab. You can also enhance and modify your hover bikes with various stats that boost different things. This will cost you gold and materials. The materials and crafting blueprints can be earned all throughout the missions by acquiring the blueprint loot and the blueprint-specific boxes from battlefield missions. And as always, parts can be researched through a Chiizy. You are able to use your hover bikes outside Axiom as well. So far, I was able to use it in other regions and Sigma Sector. Wall Crasher is actually an amazing boss. Without spoiling too much, it's not mechanics heavy, but it surely is extremely tough and has a lot of attacks. The Wall Crasher spawns every hour and it despawns 20 minutes after if players were not able to defeat it. When Wall Crasher spawns, you can head towards the center of Axiom Planes and go inside the barrier. This will put you into matchmaking and queues you with random players. Now, I don't think that you can create a pre-party with 8 players here. I haven't tested it because the demo population was low. But if players are allowed to make a party of 8 in Albion, and if Axiom Field's player size is 8, then you can tackle Wall Crasher as an 8-man party equipped with strategies and such. Defeating Wall Crasher will grant you global buffs, Axiom Field's rewards, as well as 3 new component types. The new component set works exactly as how they are described in the tooltip, except I'm not too sure about the Dimension Destroyer set. Now for quality of life changes, Inversion now has different presets per Descendant for a maximum of 3 presets each. I know that is going to help me tremendously. Switching Inversion every time I change Descendant was not my thing, and I'm glad for this change. There were also a couple of changes for the Inversion buffs. First is a focus boost that basically just reduces skill costs when defeating enemies for a total of 4%. self-recovery which heals us when our HP goes 50% or lower, decontamination protocol that removes debuffs as well as giving us debuff immunity, shield particle reconfiguration that boosts our shield and defense, pain suppression which will grant us maximum HP when our HP reaches 50% or lower, deploy hardened shell that decreases our incoming damage, emergency antibody generation that provides resistances up to 10 stacks, firearm control mechanism that is a huge buff to Serena, pinpoint aim algorithm for the Exterminator weapon buffs, analytic sensor augmentation for the Eraser weapon buffs, and deploy resonance device which increases skill duration and weak point damage. You will also notice this boost path when going into your inventory. Basically, these tracks your quest progression which can be extremely useful for new and returning players. Completing each quest will reward you with various items like gold, blueprints, and even crystallization catalysts. Now for the trigger modules, before you can unlock it for a Descendant, you will need to craft one refined Axiom crystal that can be crafted through an Chiizy. You also need to have 10 crystallization catalysts and 1 energy activator slotted into the Descendant as well as have its arcade tuning leveled up to 40. You will be able to obtain the materials needed by completing various missions in Axiom fields. Once you've crafted the crystal, head towards the prime hand to unlock it. Trigger modules can also be randomly obtained through trigger module boxes earned from Axiom fields. You will randomly acquire a trigger module once you open the box with equal chances. The grind for these is actually quite alright because aside from the high chances of obtaining the boxes, you can also track the box itself for the targeted reward system. The only RNG from this is that you receive different quality of the same trigger module. Each trigger module can have different effects with different quality. And the challenge is for players to obtain the highest quality for every effect. So if you want the perfect trigger module, expect to be grinding a lot. Trigger module will take effect if you use a skill that synergizes with the trigger module. And you can check which ability synergizes with the trigger module by looking at the UI as the ability will turn yellow. Or you can just refer to the ability tags and what the trigger module requires. We were able to try out 9 trigger modules which I won't go into detail as much because I will be when I update my Descendant builds. But majority of the trigger modules have some effects that heavily favor skill power and skill damage. As of now, only 2 trigger modules synergizes with weapon Descendants. Now for the Storm Hanger, the boss is actually quite fun to fight with. The reason being is that it has similar stats to Ice Maiden. This boss, however, has some mechanics that's not too confusing and not too difficult. You get buffs by obtaining the blue electric orbs, and you also get a buff when staying under the shields. The boss also has one-hit attacks if you're not doing the mechanics. Now I already have builds for this boss as well as Wall Crasher, but I will be waiting for when Season 3 drops because I still need to see if there will be any hidden mechanics and gimmicks like Ice Maiden has. For the skins, the only skin that we can try on is the Nier skins. These are common skins, so these can probably be used across all female Descendants including the hair. These also comes with back attachments such as swords. Now I assume that each type will be bought through bundles and individually, but the probability of this skin to be universal is high. Aside from that, we also get to try out the skins from Battle Pass. The male skins are also universal skins. Aside from this, we also have some new emotes, and a lot more chest and back attachments. The Battle Pass rewards are also full of goodies. Mainly the Exterminator can be acquired here, a bunch of customization items, growth materials and boosters, new skins for Wave of Flight, Clairvoyance, Excava, Sigvar's Proof, Atoms, and the Exterminator skin. For the Battle Supply Shop, you are able to obtain Nell's Albion uniform skin. A lot of new stuff coming from the Battle Pass. Now, I'm not quite sure if I have covered everything here. I might have missed some small details because guys, Season 3 has a lot of new stuff in it and I won't be surprised if I missed something. But for Nell and the new weapons, there will be a separate video with full build explanations and tests. A huge shout out to Sushi and Dean for their work on their respective projects. Season 3 will have a lot of hidden stats and information and their projects will for sure help a lot of people. What they do is nothing but for the TFD community, and I know for sure that I will be using their work to help me find information for Season 3. Overall, I had a blast trying out Season 3, and I cannot wait for you guys to try what's coming on August 7th. That's it for the video, guys. Make sure to check out my builds for Nell and the Exterminator in the link from the description below. For now, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!